Greetings all and welcome to my review of Dead Island. This will be a playthrough and kind of a discussion of some of the elements of the game. Things I've liked, things I haven't liked. So this, as you can see, is a first-person game. It's also an RPG. It's a lot like other games like Borderlands. And obviously comparisons will automatically be with a game like Left 4 Dead. Both Borderlands and this game have uh, four-player multiplayer, and this is one of the draws of the game. You can play multiplayer as a something you set up with friends, or that you something that you just drop in. So as you can see, the sound is quite meaty at the moment. And just more generally, the atmosphere of the game is really well executed. It's set in New Guinea, which is quite unique as far as I know, apart from maybe World War II games. And the game's quite like has a really tense atmosphere, to the extent where I'll only want to play for maybe an hour and a half, because it's just like, I know this makes it sound pretty soft, but kind of tense and overwhelming. You feel under threat a lot of the time, which I think is kind of one of the points of this a game like this. So moving on to some of the things I didn't like about it. You see that I'm throwing weapons. I'm the throwing guy. There's four different classes in this game, and I'll talk about that later. But when I throw them, sometimes Boomerang pops up, and sometimes I manage to electrocute them with my weapon mod. But Boomerang doesn't always pop up, and so I have to go around collecting my weapons from dead zombies, which isn't A, fun, and B, uh, can lead me to lose weapons. As I do, I lose two of my upgraded weapons in this game, which is quite frustrating. The upgrade system's not that deep. There's four upgrades. You pay for damage increase basically, and there's also kind of special modifications like making zombies get electrocuted randomly. So in terms of the inventory, there's you have a kind of limited weapon inventory, but your general inventory isn't so much limited. A lot of the stuff is just to sell, and some of it's for making modifications. You can see that as you get close to a zombie, you see its level. Unfortunately, and this is another one of the things I didn't like, and it is in games like Oblivion, is that the zombies level with you, which can be quite frustrating in the sense that it really degrades, and a mate of mine said this, it really degrades your feeling of power. You don't feel particularly powerful because whenever you level up, the zombies level with you. It also creates difficulties for the multiplayer because I'll be level 17 and my friend will be level 22, and he'll join my game and the zombies will be too weak. If I join his game, the zombies will kill me. And so it's kind of doesn't necessarily make sense. I mean, they're always going to have an issue like that, but I prefer the other issues created with having set level areas. Um, in terms of the story is not particularly good, not particularly bad either. It's an excuse to kill zombies. Nobody really cares the excuse. There's lots of quests, lots of side quests. Most of them are fairly kind of mundane fetch quests. This is showing off some of the gunplay and the blunt weapons. The gunplay is pretty meh, to be honest. Um, you're not really going to be using the guns that much just because the ammo is so limited. The main use for them I've found is to fight against other human enemies like looters. Just because the zombies don't really have that much range options. I mean, maybe I use the gunplay a lot less because I can throw weapons as a ranged attack, but anyway, there's a specialist shooter class, and also a specialist bladed weapon class and a blunt weapon class. The blunt weapon class is like a tank. The bladed weapon class gets bonuses for backstab, so kind of like a rogue. And the shooter, I'm guessing, is a mage. So another thing that happens in this game is that weapons degrade quite rapidly, and you have to kind of repair them. This is another thing that I feel wasn't necessary. I think that there's a lot of there's a trend amongst developers to kind of include things just because RPGs do them, and so they have to be done. I don't necessarily think that for a zombie game like this, it adds anything to it. I mean, you have to look at things and kind of wonder, what adds things. So this is looking at the RPG elements, kind of the various upgrade trees. I put heavy points into survival because I wanted bullseye. That's the 50% chance that your weapon will return to you when you throw it. So here's me repairing my things. But there's also combat and fury. Fury is something that all classes have. It's kind of a superpower mode where you temporarily, do a lot more damage. I'll showcase my superpower mode later in the game. And the combat one is what it says. Each of the different classes have different upgrades for these kind of things. So I mean, looking at the this is a rage zombie. Some of the zombies are really fast. Some of them are quite slow. Some of them will just jump up and attack you out of nowhere. They'll kind of be lying on the ground and you'll think they're dead. Other things that are kind of frustrating is the management of quests. This is something that maybe it's just me, but I've had quite a few bugs where the tracking of the quest will kind of stuff up. There's me kicking some fool. And now I'm going to go ahead and activate my special mode, throw a lot of knives, and then I'll wrap up this review. So I mean, like, I know I've been talking a lot of talking quite bad about this game, but I actually think it's a really decent effort. I wouldn't. The complaints that I've raised are definitely overcome by the atmosphere, the decent combat, the good sound, the okay multiplayer. It's good to play through with friends. So go ahead and check it out. Thanks for listening.